Washington State delegation, and so we want to have some names and faces. So let's start, and I will start, and I will say, my name is Mary Coltrane, and I'm with the Seattle King County League, and my role here is as president. And we're going to kind of go around and just say your name and your name so people can put a name to a face. I know not all of our delegates are here, but at least that will help us get some sense. So we will start with you.
Robin, you're Kitsap County. Glenn Wesley, Whidbey Island.
You go with the island. I'm a virtual delegate, and I'm sort of coordinating the virtual delegates who want to promote the local news.
Great.
Everybody have to phone in.
Sally Hale, Clark County.
Rick Hale, Clark County, I'm gonna be representing Caucus at the convention.
Mark is six.
Glad to meet anybody here.
Oh,
Okay, good.
Tracy Riley, Kinley, Clark County.
I'm Valley Needham, I'm Thurston County.
See if you're in person or virtual, please.
Oh, I am in person.
I'm in
These are all in person.
Angela?
Angela Gerko, I am Jefferson County unit at large, but I am taking one of the delegate slots for, from Yakima. Thank you if anybody here is from Yakima. And I will be virtual.
And let's just go around this table.
Nisha Claus from San Juan, and I actually won't be a delegate because I have my niece is getting married and I'm on the road or at the wedding through the whole convention. But I'm really, really interested in getting something with reproductive rights, hopefully on the program, happening. Yeah. And Susan Martin, San Juan County, and I'll be virtual. And the one who's suggesting the reproductive health language for a resolution.
Big South Thurston, I'll be virtual.
Welch from Pullman, and I'll be in person.
I'm another Susan. I think there are 5 of us.
Yeah.
I'm from Kitsap County. I'll be representing Kitsap County at National.
I'm Deanne Finken. I'm in person and I'm representing state.
And I'm Karen Crowley. I'm Snohomish County, and I will be there in person.
Cindy Madigan, Bellingham, Whatcom County, I'll be there in person.
Julianne Camp, Seattle King County, I'll be.
Getting Hilder, Skagit County, I'll be in person.
Joanna Cullen, Seattle King County, virtual.
Becky Dickerhoof, Spokane, virtual.
Ellie Hutton, Clark County, virtual.
Deanna Klein, Mason County, virtual.
Bring it home.
Shelley, virtual.
Thank you. Go ahead, you and
On the board for the LWVUS.
Well, thank you, everybody. I think this will help give us a sense of the reason Deanna is counting is because she has done a lot of work to get everybody involved and have a great opportunity to have as many delegates back to Washington, DC and virtually as possible. And she has been bird dogging this for what, at least 6 weeks, I think. Maybe longer.
I know, I'm tired of my names.
With labor by seeing all of them today, and there are others as well.
Out of 56.
53 out of 56 delegates. That's amazing.
Wow.
No. We have three slots left, and I will also mention at this time, I mentioned it at the president's breakfast this morning, that we have gotten a contribution from Rebuild Local News of $5,000 to add to our $2,000 that we got from our all-member mailing to help reimburse solid solid support for this local concurrence item. So the next item on our agenda is delegate coordination. As you know, we're trying to keep our delegates coordinated, and Susan is going to help. And what does this look like? We aren't yet sure, but she's going to.
Okay, I'm gonna stand up here so you know what I look like, but I don't know what it's gonna look like for us to coordinate this. So, I'm gonna get a list from Deanne, or actually, I already have it, of who's going and your email addresses, and what we'll try to do for the virtual and the in-person people, mostly for the in-person people. How many's going to dinner tonight? Where would you like to go? What workshops are you going to? So we can coordinate what we're doing when we're in DC. I know we have quite a few virtual 28 here, but of the people who are in person, how many are going or flying out on Tuesday? Wednesday? Oh, good. Look around. Maybe you can find people who are gonna be on your flight with you. Thursday. Yay. And hopefully you're already here.
We're taking a train.
So, we'll be sort of letting everybody know. So you'll be getting emails from me, and I hope that you will, it won't go into your junk folder. You'll say, okay, email company. This is not junk. Let me see this from Susan. So I'll be the point person in DC. So if you know you want to go to dinner and maybe some other people like to go, let me know. And I'll spread the word. Yes. We have everyone's email, but what we don't have is everybody's cell phone number. And I realize some people have privacy issues, but it would be helpful. And I have the list here, and I think it's been shared with not everybody. Maybe you can double check and make sure your cell phone number is there correctly. And the reason is, so if we need to text to say, hey, oh, we need you here. And that's kind of to coordinate that. And there's just a handful of people we don't have. You want to call them out now? Well, okay, Sharon Wilhelm Valley, yeah, we need yours, and
You want it right now or?
no, come up afterwards. Susan Fixstall and Karen yeah, tweet. Tweet. Okay, come and let me know. And then the others, if you're check online, make sure we haven't transposed numbers, etc.
Thanks, Susan. And let me ask Julie and Kemp to also talk about virtual coordination.
Yeah, something that I've put it in a couple of smaller meetings, which has not gotten a lot of lift. Mary's been teasing me, is 2 years ago, we had the office open. And we had a hub where some folks that were attending virtually got together, and so we were all on a laptop in one place, and we can have some dialogue back and forth and whatnot. I do think that I've discovered the issue with people not being as enthusiastic. Last time it was an hour's difference. This time we're gonna be getting up at 30.
Oh, yeah.
Pacific time. So, you know, people are super thrilled about, oh, yeah, let's do a 5
No traffic.
So, yeah, we don't know how important that is. But here was another thought that's gonna be suggested to me, is that we could have, for the virtual folks, we could do a quick Zoom the night before we get up at 30 to attend from our homes, and just get a lay of the land, get the gossip update from the folks who are in person. Yeah, gossip is always an update. And just, you know, so that we know what votes are coming up, what to be aware of. during the plenary. The plenaries move fast for both of us at home and those of you in DC. And we won't be in the humidity, you guys will be in it, so there you go, we'll be up at 5 a.m., but no humidity. But if we have like a little, a quick half-hour Zoom meeting, get the gossip from the gals over and guys in DC, and we know what votes we've got coming up that day, and what we need to be aware of. And, we go informed but not instructed, but I think we'd like to know if our delegation is generally urged to vote in a certain way, like on a certain concurrence.
So I like the idea, and we do need to coordinate this virtual. And one thing would be nice to have a two lists, who's in DC.
Right.
So
That'd be.
Yeah.
that if I do it, I'll delete half people. But are you saying that this Zoom would include the in-person people?
I think what we do is invite them, and it would sort of depend upon what their demands are, things that they have to go to there, but it's great if we could get.
But they're gonna have the girls.
Yeah, they're gonna have the gossip. Well, the other thing is I can annoy Mary at all hours of the day. Like that.
But I think we could have a caucus. I think you were suggesting Wednesday night, Deanne, and it could be a Zoom in-person caucus in Washington, so the in-person people are there in Washington DC. That would not give us the gossip piece, which you're looking for, but
Why not?
well, because it's too early, we won't have any gossip yet on it.
Lobby day feedback. Oh, right, you won't have anything Wednesday.
But then we could have another one Friday night, and the Friday.
There you go.
night would be the gossip one.
Yeah, yeah. Friday night would be guys.
It's later, 6:30, have meet at hub. Yeah, it's like, no. Yeah.
Not gonna have.
Yeah, because it was just. But I think that this could be something that, because the key is to try to make sure we all feel like a delegation, even though we're in different places. And that those of us who are attending virtually don't miss out on something critical that has, like, let's say they get some traction for a reproductive resolution or something like that. We're gonna wanna know.
Should we also have a designee, somebody from virtual and somebody live for really critical information?
I think we should. I think we
That's a
should
good
have
idea.
both.
Judy, Julie and Shelley for virtual.
What do you mean?
Well, being connected to,
You're the point person.
you're the better people.
Yeah.
You're looking for one person.
Susan will be the main point person, and she will delegate as she needs.
So I need two, well, I just need one person for the virtual to connect with.
I
Julie
nominate
and
Beth
Judy. Here. This is our news team, and she's our only one who's, Judy, thank you. You'll be my connection to the virtual people.
Okay,
Great.
So Julian.
Thank you. On the
News team.
There's a question
Oh.
for Ellie. Yes, Ellie.
and, but there's also gonna.
Question, wait.
Ellie's got a question. Ellie and then Jan.
Tracy's gonna be in person in DC, and she and I have already talked that we will text each other, because I'm virtual. Because she'll be on the ground, being able to be in rooms and see things and gather materials or whatever. And so, she and I will do that. I have attended two national conventions, virtually. And the first one, we were all virtual in 2020, but the two of us texted back and forth during the meeting just so that we could be having a conversation about stuff. So what I was planning was with Tracy having kind of that kind of contact just individually, because some of that stuff's gonna be.
We should have a buddy.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the moment.
That's a great model. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Also set up a group text.
So we can set up group text, but you can also have buddy text, especially somebody else from your league is a delegate. You've got one virtual, one in person. That could work really well. So mean, it should work for people. That's the whole point. And if, you know, yes, Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if, do you know, as is there any county that has only virtual
Yes.
delegates?
I'd have to double.
Well, yeah, we're gonna go to Deanne and let Deanne get her questions.
Tiana, yeah, think it. Lydia, you mentioned, you know, texting about important moments. Now, I gotta be real honest with you. I'm a virtual delegate, and the reason I'm a delegate is vote. So I need to know, I mean, that would be great if you said, be at this, you know.
By your computer at such and such time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my left hand here is taking notes on what to be notified.
Well, this is gonna be more a
Julianne?
Kemp question. Let's hear, this is a question of, because Beth has brought, I don't know if you all know Beth or not, but she has brought up this point as a virtual delegate. You don't, the voting happens fast. You
Yeah.
can find out all of a sudden, and then you've missed it, and this is a big problem.
So you can go to the bathroom. and
You
that's-
go to the bathroom,
Take
you
your
come
phone
back
with you.
and, so Julianne, could you?
It's a virtual voting.
It's our kind of our
And you don't.
using her parliamentary procedure, her Robert's rules knowledge to help us with this kind of question. So go ahead, Julianne.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, it'll be, well, for example, the in-person that I attended at the Washington Hilton again, so exactly the same venue. Eric Holder gave a great keynote speech about community, and that's super. You can text us and, hey, Eric Holder was on fire. We just saw it on the Zoom meeting too. What I want to know is that they're about to challenge the ruling of the chair on that we're moving to a vote to, you know, to determine whether we can accept a resolution that was not available 40 days prior to the convention. I'll read the here, something like that. That's what we're gonna have. I think it's great for people to buddy up and, you know, exchange information. So we're gonna need to assign some people who can get to us so that we can get out to the group text. They're voting on the challenge to the ruling of the chair. Be in your seat, vote, go to the bathroom. Go now.
Cross your legs.
Yeah. Video off.
What is sound?
Like, sit on the pandemic, you're saying, they have a seat yourself.
Yes, Val.
So I've not been to this type of convention, but will there be really quick voting on things like language of something? And if so, how is that language going to be gained to our virtual people? Is that a thing that happens?
Well, what you share, what happens more is when there's a floor discussion debate. And people can stand up at the microphone for pro and people stand up with the microphone for con. And then they also allow virtual people to participate in that. And so that's where things move quickly, because depending upon how many people stand up at the floor will depend, you know, in each of those categories, depends upon how many people get to speak. Because they need to have one and one. And so that's where things can start to move along really quickly. What I can say from virtual attendance, I just sat there and stayed with it. And when it seemed like there was a little bit of time for a break, that was when I grabbed something to eat or went to the restroom or took care of something in my personal life. But I pretty much stayed glued to it during plenary because it does move really quick.
It's Saturday.
It's 3 hours, 4 hours.
So that's Saturday, folks.
Yeah.
That's Saturday.
Lynn?
Yes, in that scenario that you were describing, pros and cons in the poll lined up, how do they integrate the virtuals? Do the virtuals line up the same way virtually?
Well, you have raised your hand, you have raised your hand versus your virtual hand, and that's how they determine the order of.
Okay, so you get in line by racial.
Yeah, one of them did a really excellent job with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just add, the thing that can happen too is that all of a sudden they'll cut off comment. I mean, that they'll just, you could have 7 to 8 people in line, all of a sudden the chair says, we're cutting off comment, and they go to vote. So, yeah.
So it goes pro con. Well, if there are no cons,
Right.
so we might just have 2 pros and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, we can't be overly, well, That's one of us.
So there are still details to sort out, you know, and to get,
Question back there?
oh, I'm sorry.
Leanne?
No, I was just gonna say the little piece of inside baseball that probably a lot of you know, but some folks may not, is the chair customarily will have been informed by the pro side and the con side which speakers they specifically want to make sure are recognized, because they're designated, they're prepared, they have their remarks. And there are a lot of folks who are well-meaning and support one side or the other and pop up with the mics. And it's not that people don't want to hear from them, but if they seem like the chair is recognizing out of order, it's because they know that the pro side wants, you know, Shelley and Joanne and to be recognized.
Right.
That's really valuable information.
Mhm.
Who do we get that information to, and which person in this group is gonna be designated to share that with the chair? And, well, that's an excellent question.
But we aren't gonna be discussing it today
Yeah,
because that, yeah.
Dan and I probably need to talk about that because, you know, you guys are spearheading, like who we might have from local state to talk and stuff.
Now, and this conversation right here is about local news, but there are a lot of other things on the agenda besides the local news concurrence item. And everything that applies to the local news concurrence item applies to all of the other things, but we'll get to those in just a moment. Let's go now to Lobby Day. And, Deanne, do you have anything you want to say on Lobby Day?
Amy has taken the lead on scheduling us. We have. Can somebody else talk while I go get back
Well,
here?
so, Amy has taken the lead on scheduling Lobby Day, and I asked, Deanna, if she could assist Amy, because
Yes.
Amy has been pretty much overwhelmed with council lately, and Deanna is the person who will get us our appointments if it's possible to get them.
We have
So-
one with Suzanne Delbenny at 3 PM on Lobby Day, which is perhaps a problem because the buses are supposed to return at 3, although I've been lobbying Kirsten Kern to stretch it out.
Oh, okay.
We also have at 11 AM Adam Smith that day and Kim Schreier at 11:30. So the others are asking us to write back, and Patty Murray is saying yes, but we don't have a time for that day. Has Maria Cantwell. We're waiting on the others because they're saying 2 weeks out, they'll be able to give us the time. And Mary, we have like about 3 or 4 people signed up for each congressional rep and senator. Are we able to do the maximum of 6 if somebody, Karen Crowley wants to go to all of them, you're not even there till that night.
So there will be an organizational, task around getting everybody to their appropriate Lobby Day meeting. So, and it will be the leader of your, Lobby Day, visit with your member of Congress, and not with the senators, but with the members of Congress. The leader of that is your local league president or her designee. So that's who we want to hear from. Who do you want to have in talking to your member of Congress? And there's overlap, you know, so we want to talk with the Seattle King County president, about, does Camilla overlap with anybody?
Well, Camilla overlapped, like Adam Smith's Camilla, and then somebody on the east side, I'm sure, are all in King County.
So we're gonna sort all that out. If you are not interested in if you're going to Washington DC and you don't want to be part of a Lobby Day event, that would be more valuable information than if you do want to, because we assume everybody does. Yeah.
I was reading the Lobby Day information and they said that it is against meat policy to visit a legislator who is not your legislator in your district.
Oh,
Well, we will be looking into that. Don't have that policy at my fingertips, but we'll double check that. And again, it'll be your local league president's decision as to who attends a Lobby Day meeting with the member of Congress in which that local league has a, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
yeah, but we all have the same senators.
Yeah, and that is the state league takes the lead on the senators, so that's me. And we'll be in touch. If you would like to go see the senators, if you would like to be part of that, let me know and we'll
I'd like
just
to
see
go.
how things work
I'm
out.
letting you know right now.
Not know, I don't wanna know. Yes.
We got dibs, first dibs.
Two people not here, and we need to think in terms of what it is we want to tell these people. So we have direction from National League that we need to talk about the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. So that's going to be our number one task. We have permission from National League to talk about the local news concurrence. We do not have permission to talk about what the National Convention is doing with regard to the concurrence item. We only have permission to say that this league, this state league has this position. You are our representatives. We are lobbying you to support. So we already have good support from Susan Delbene, as Deanne can attest to, but how about some of the other folks? I'm not so sure that we have good support from Kathy McMorris. So if we have folks from Spokane, we might want them to really think about that. So.
It wouldn't do any good.
Well,
But we would still make our case, and
But my question is, how are the virtual people, are there?
now that is a very good question. To my knowledge, the virtual people do not have an opportunity, but as we make these appointments, and Deanne, maybe we could check back into this.
Why can't, well, do a FaceTime call when you're there.
We could do a Zoom call, set
Or
up a.
FaceTime even with one of the, because Zoom might be a little more cumbersome.
Yeah.
just on your phone.
On your phone.
Right here and say, hi, this person.
And by the way,
I don't know, would need permission. from
Kelly,
the-
can I appear on phone here, coming in from, just to.
So we're gonna have to sort that out.
Yeah.
I think that we would have to have permission from the elected.
Yeah.
When we do that. Yes, Ellie.
Question about East Side. I will be in person. Pullman has another in person. I did not see Kathy McMorris Rogers on this list of times that I heard.
Or we haven't completed them all yet.
Okay,
and-
I'm gonna talk to her if we need to.
Make a note.
I'll talk to her, yes,
Yeah.
please. I've never met her and I've always wanted to.
Oh, she will be.
Oh,
And National League has offered us support if we have trouble making appointments. Angela?
One of the other options for the discussion of a Zoom or a FaceTime is getting the talking points to the virtual folks. And if at 10 o'clock, you guys are seeing this person, 9:30, we all who are virtual send the email through their contact thing, and then you can say, so you may have gotten a rash of emails just a few minutes ago from our virtual members talking about these same points that we're gonna talk about. So that we're presenting a unified picture, we're just doing it via formal email in through their formal contact point and yarn.
Great idea.
And we can answer that right here.
I have talking points right now for you.
Andrea, oh, we're on it.
Talking points for local news. We don't have any talking points for the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, but we should be getting them from the National Convention. Val, and then Ellie.
So I think we may have to do it that way because I suspect that filming may not be allowed in offices due to security concerns. So I think the email is what we should plan.
And when we make the appointments, we've got some already, I know, but we'll double back and check with those folks on this question. And look at what you're suggesting, Angela, as a plan B. Yeah. Ellie, did you have?
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me what you just
Yeah.
said. And the other aspect about emails and stuff for them, I guess that falls outside of who the local league president designates as the representatives in person.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess all I'm trying to think of is as a virtual, I was just assuming I wasn't involved in lobby day. I was feeling like that was just a in-person thing. But writing an email, are we gonna have all the same script? Because you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. And I think you're pointing out that it could get complicated.
Yes.
And that's why I'm asking.
So I might myself want to leave that to the state league, the local league
Well,
president.
but we do have talking points for the news.
Have the news, and then
Right.
about other things that.
The only other thing we can lobby is
The only things that we're really lobbying on, to my knowledge, I have not heard of anything from the national folks other than the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and then we've got the.
A rule of lobby day that we can only lobby for John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and now we have permission for the local news and democracy. But if you want to speak on anything else, you have to submit a federal recognition form thing, and it's on the website. So we can only talk about Voting Rights Act and our.
It's not shady.
It is, you're right.
So following that
Mhm.
call makes a lot of sense.
And it's only Washington delegates can talk about the Washington
Yes.
purposes.
Yes, we have a
So we can't have delegates from another state talking about.
So if you send out the talking points.
Karen, did you have something?
Yeah.
I just had a question about when folks, I know you're building this list now. When will you be reaching out to the other delegates with the time frame and some more detail?
The other delegates
Well,
or the
yeah.
other the electeds?
Well, actually, for me, I have two other folks going from Snohomish County who are gonna be there for lobby day, and I just wanna know when they can expect to hear.
So
the plan.
after June 13th.
Okay, great, thanks.
Why June 13th?
That's they say call back 2 weeks before.
Oh, okay.
And you have the Delbany one set though, and they will be Delbany.
Del Benny at 3 o'clock on lobby day.
So again, you'll be reaching out though with the
Yeah.
full schedule to everybody and all that. Okay, thanks.
And we've got Kim Schreier at 11:30, but wait, what's she's 8th district? I don't know.
Yes, she's the
Okay.
eighth.
And Adam Smith at 11 that day.
Okay, so that
Over
is our
here,
first, oh, yes, Val.
So are you organizing all the meetings for lobby day,
Amy,
Yes.
including senators and representatives?
Yes.
We do.
You don't,
Okay.
you wait to hear from your local league president, where to be and when.
That's fine, that's.
Oh, we go through the local league president.
So anything else on that? Okay, good. That's our first introduction to a discussion on lobby day. I think we're gonna have others.
Miriam,
There are a lot of issues that are on the agenda, and I've mentioned some here, bylaws. You all know, there's I have not myself had the opportunity to delve into the website. You've seen the website, I hope. You see that there's a lot of information there. You're gonna have to budget time to kind of sort through it and get some focus. You may not be able to do everything. So that's fine, but we do want to take a careful look at the bylaws. And I hope that Beth would be able to chime in here via Zoom, but sure, her granddaughter's having a baby and she's
no, not a granddaughter, her daughter.
daughter's having a
Having another
baby. Thank
granddaughter.
you.
There is a bylaws webinar on June 13th. Is that important for everyone to go to?
I would take a look at that. You have to make your
Put up on the screen, the,
schedule. There's nobody there.
no, do you want
That's so tiny.
the website? The web.
That's us.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, we could get the schedule.
she can do that.
okay, so Shelley is gonna show us the Group IO website. So this is where you go to learn about your various program items that you have. Local news will be there, but there are others. There's one about gun control, there's one about healthcare. There's the whole Making Democracy Work stuff. So there's plenty of information there. There's a lot of information there. There's bylaws, as Deanne just mentioned, there's gonna be webinars. And that could
That's
be
on
big.
June 13th.
On budget, there's a big deal on budget. There's been talk, I've heard people talking about, well, what if the delegates don't adopt the budget? What's that gonna do to the whole due structure that we're talking about? How's that gonna affect what's going on? They're counting on a budget that's expecting everybody to give $75, and maybe that won't happen, especially if that budget, and what happens if, so the budget's worth paying attention to. The next one I've got on mine is while she does that, well, let me know when you're ready, Shelley, and I'll break away. A resolution from San Juan County League regarding reproductive rights. Very interested in that. Now, Nisha, you said something. Would you like to say something, you or Susan, one of you,
Yeah.
about that resolution idea?
Well, I shared with Mary some language that we're thinking of in terms of introducing as a resolution. Can I quickly read it?
Sure.
It's very short. Whereas the League of Women Voters resolved in 2022 that the League supports the rights of women and those who can become pregnant to self-determination related to and including without limited to bodily autonomy, privacy, reproductive health, and lifestyle choice. And whereas access to reproductive services has been severely restricted in states throughout the country since the Supreme Court decision in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization.
be it resolved that the League of Women Voters reiterates its commitment to fight for reproductive rights throughout the United States. So very short and to the point, using the language that's already been accepted by I think there are like 4 votes against it, in 2022. And then, so what I was hoping was that this would be submitted by the state as the state board, as was the case in 2022, rather than through our local league. I think it carries more clout if that happens.
Julianne, can you help us with that?
Yeah.
Julianne submitted it in 2022, so we've been down that road.
Yeah.
And it's really important. So.
And we have to go down forest.
And cite every step of the way during the business before the decision.
Right.
And we kept saying, hey, it's gonna happen during your connection with, at the limits. And we need to be prepared, and it took forever to get national to agree to have a resolution, and then people were working.
People yelling already that people do that.
After the decision.
This might be our greatest weakness. Guys,
Yeah.
But there's another aspect to it, where what we originally did in 2022 is for the thing, we proposed it to be part of the national program. Only 4 leagues in the country.
Do you want to
proposed
see
it
it?
and the board did not recommend it for the program.
That's coming
The
up.
state council had national people here, and I asked, I said, can we still get it on the floor to be in the program of the convention? And they stonewalled us about how to do that. They could say, you don't want to do that, but do a resolution. So that's what we ended up doing. But this year, once again, our league proposed that reproductive rights be part of the program, connecting it not just to women's rights and reproductive rights in and of themselves, but also to the impact on democracy, because as we've seen where states have pushed back when their legislatures pass these things and their initiatives or constitutional amendments protect abortion rights, the legislatures have then tried to remove initiative processes or raise supermajorities to amend the Constitution. So it's also impacting democracy. So this year we said it's a democracy issue as well. I have not whether that's going to be recommended or not for the program, because I haven't seen that. But this time I also looked at myself the bylaws of the National Convention, and even if the National Board doesn't recommend it for inclusion, from the floor, somebody can still propose that it be discussed as part of the program. You need 50% of the delegates to agree for it to be discussed as part of the program. And I think 2/3 for it to actually be added to the program. So I still wanted to explore, if they're not recommending it, to bring it up from the floor. Because a resolution is nice, but it's not at the same level as making it part of the program. And I think this is so foundational to women, to women's rights, to our democracy, and to our status as citizens, that it should be part of the League of Women Voters program. As one of our members, a man, who is the one that actually first made me think he's right, actually didn't. So if the women voters cannot make this central to what they do, what organization can?
Yeah, bravo.
And I read,
Hold on a second.
there is a resolutions committee meeting at 6:30 on Friday. I think it's Friday.
Caucuses too.
Shoot.
And there's the parliamentarian office hours, if you want to figure out how to bring this up. I mean,
This is
that's
Friday.
an
This
amazing
is
task. Things are
Friday.
very scripted.
I think
It's very scripted.
I think it's worth doing as a council and putting it up for 50% of the people to put their, again, with the commentary that this is a process and we have to go through the process, and if we don't, who will?
I agree, especially after watching the video.
Right.
Mhm.
Say that at the last convention, something that got brought up from the floor, I believe it wasn't a recommended program, was, 16-year-olds, younger than 16-year-olds be able to become full members.
Full voting members.
And I did not vote, but there's a lot of discussion. This is exactly what I mean when I say things move quickly. And votes happen quickly because, or discussions, pros, cons. So that's where stay tuned during the whole plenary sessions, because otherwise you'll miss it.
Joanna?
I might be mistaken, but it seems like when the discussions come up before, part of what the reason for not putting it as part of the program is they say that we already have strong positions that allow us to lobby on that issue, and that we already have strong positions with these other pieces of our program or things that we're trying to pass where we need stronger positions.
Yeah, they have not updated these positions since the 1970s. And it's a whole new world out there, both for, in terms of abortion and the kind of laws. Now there are states that are proposing that pregnant women cannot cross state lines.
Right.
That's right.
Have reproductive health, reproductive rights is subsumed under health, reproductive health. What we're trying to do is shift it so that it's a rights issue, that it's not just a health issue and it's not a service delivery issue. It's really fundamental to our rights in a democracy.
So we're gonna have to,
Different perspective than they're taking.
Moving on.
we're gonna have to move on. We'll take one more comment.
Before, the other thing that needs to be updated is language. Like, it's not just women, like, we need to have more inclusive language to include trans folks. So that's something that also needs to be updated. Yes. That's why. Yes.
Okay, so it looks like we're gonna be moving towards the resolution, and in terms of what the other comments you're making, it's a very scripted thing, and you really have to study it if you're gonna try and get something on the floor that's not already in the works. And
Issue is, I'm not gonna be there myself.
that makes it harder.
I'll be like, looking for that moment when they're like, is anybody bringing anything up to the floor? And it's right there. You have to do it then because they're moving on in 30 seconds if you're not standing up and saying your thing. So, I mean, one of the things that I'm hoping is I can find a champion that's willing to do it, although Angela suggested that there might be another state that is thinking about bringing this up from the floor if it's not approved as the program. So somebody might be doing this and we would just need to sign on. So I will also try to find out more if somebody else in the country also is having the same.
Okay, so Shelley, did you have some stuff you're gonna show us on the website here, or?
Well, I don't know if people, the website is a little fluency to get on to. You have to register and get a code to see it all. But you can look at the agenda without that. And then all the materials, so let me go back. So you have to say register here to even get on it, even though you're already registered. All the materials are here under delegate resources. And that will have summaries of everything you need to know that we're going to vote on. And here is resolutions process. I'm not used to working without a mouse, so what just happened? And the only thing you get if you click on register now and go through the code process, the only thing I can see that's different is there's a list of all the delegates by first name without any indication of who they represent.
Yeah.
So it's not very.
Shelley, did they finally have a way to find this website without spending 20 minutes on Google?
No.
Yeah, the only way I recommend you bookmark it.
Bookmark it,
Because
should get there.
otherwise you have to go to book management, events, convention, register, and then you get there.
Do it via the email, I saved the email that they
Yeah,
sent.
do that too.
The email, and it goes right to that page.
Yeah, but bookmarking it works.
Should not. I'll never find you.
So thank you, Shelley. That's helpful. Yeah. And thank you too, Ashley, for your tips. So we only have a couple minutes left. I want to call attention to the immigration caucus that Susan is going to be moderating. That will be a caucus at the convention. And she's going to moderate that virtually. We also have our workshop caucus or our workshop on program process. You know about the local news concerns. I know that Sally has a bunch of stuff to pass out to everybody. Given that we only have a couple minutes left, I wanted to kind of take the temperature of the room here. Would it be helpful to have a Zoom caucus in a couple of weeks to kind of go over in a little bit more detail? I mean, I would ask you all I mean, we don't have people who can digest all this for you. You'd have to, go to the website, look into these issues, come back and have a discussion in a couple of weeks about the bylaws issues, the budget issues. Maybe find out where we're at with the resolution, and we'll probably have a little bit more on local concerns. She's made her and her committee are very available to help you with talking points.
Okay.
And then, some of the tips on, some of the things on, organizing who goes to what caucus. We don't want everybody going to the same caucus and then some other caucus nobody attended and nobody knows what, the point there. There's still that piece in terms of organizing delegates. So my question is, with another caucus in a couple of weeks, would it be a Zoom caucus? Would that be helpful, or is that gonna be one more meeting and we just, it's just too much?
It would be helpful.
It would be helpful, particularly if we know what's recommended and it's out. If we could have it after we actually have the details, so we know what's really going on at the convention. Be really helpful.
Okay, let's plan on that then.
Do like in person and virtual, kind of have an in person.
Like in person group and a virtual group.
Before we,
Maybe a follow one. I don't want us all to be together and then maybe do a.
This was started, she'll take to hand out at convention. We'll also be having packs of reporter notebooks. Stand out. That
we
are,
don't get. Only the same people.
these are like these, this is some of the swag we're handing out to allied delegates in DC. They've already been shipped there, so that's why we're not handing them out.
Stand up and show everybody your t-shirt.
Oh,
I have one.
shameless self-promotion.
I have one.
She's handing out
White and there's gray and.
I got it.
You can, or the email address, you can order those, and if you order them by what? Wednesday with Lynn,
said Wednesday the 9th.
The 9th?
by the 9th, you will receive it in your cute little mailbox at home, so you can wear it to convention.
Yes, I do that.
Wear one if you're virtual.
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody need help with the virtual backgrounds that say local news, democracy? And then you have those, if you want that on your background screen, let us know.
Becky has a question.
Do we have the background screen?
There could be some.
Business.
Well, they're talking about it, but I didn't know if you got a whole.
Which, Becky, one of those so she could order it. And how about the background? Have you sent the background?
We did, but, give me your email and I'll send it to you again.
Or just send it to everybody on her. Oh, I did.
Yeah, send it out.
Yeah, that's what I was looking.
Oh,
I gotta go to one.
great. Oh, thank you.
Great work.
Matter what I am.
But Deanne, for people who might want the shirt that didn't take one of your QR code papers, can they find that later on?
Sure, we'll send that out. Well, please stop by our table.
Okay.
And you can get a picture of the QR code or the email address, whichever is more better, whichever is better for you. But order by June Hey, we're showing t-shirts. Huh?
You're talking t-shirt.
T-shirt.
Yeah, I want this background.
Background, you're gonna come and tell me your city.
So you, the local municipal table, and all your swag is there so that they can come by and see what's there and.
We have, well, we just.
And talk with you in detail about.
Right,
whatever.
right.
Okay, okay, okay.
Right.
All right, that's it then. I thank you all.
Thank
Back
you.
to lunch.